Hello, beautiful, vibrant souls. I am here to pull some cards for the collective in my Saturday clothes, and that's how we're rolling today. I do care about the messages that come from spirit, though, because I think that's what's important. That's what we're here for, right? Okay. Some big stuff here. Yesterday, I realized that I had made a big mistake in my calculations, and it's going to cost me. And at first, I was so upset and I was so frustrated because it just kind of threw me off entirely. I was like, "Oh no, there's a," and then I was like, "No, no, calm it down. Take your own advice. Think about solutions. What can you do to fix this? What can you get yourself some more time? How can you resolve this problem rather than sitting there thinking about the error that was made?" I had to start thinking about what I could do, and immediately a solution came to me. And it was like, "Oh, actually, like." I'm okay. I can make this work. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. This card is about putting yourself into situations by your own miscalculations, by your own expectations, by your own hopes, dreams, desires, fantasies, and being let down, being betrayed, somebody turning against you, and then feeling sorry for yourself about it. Which, yeah, we have a right to have that moment of feelings. We should all take a moment to process those feelings. It's really important that you don't just stuff them away and ignore them because you have a right to feel that way. But ultimately, what matters in these situations is not what happened. It's not what happened to you. It's not what somebody did to you. And it's not even about your fault or like, I got to take the blame for this. It's not what it's about. It's about what are you going to do now? What comes next? Because if what comes next is your response to feel sorry for yourself for the next 6 weeks instead of doing something about it, or to immediately try to find a situation or a person to step in and fill that void for you, or to why me all the time, it's always me, and this person has better luck than I do, and this person this, and we end up putting ourselves in another cycle where we will absolutely inevitably end up with the same kind of feelings of feeling let down, betrayed, somebody stabbed you in the back, that somebody is making you a victim. Then it becomes your own responsibility to pull yourself out of there. Because if you keep allowing those feelings to overcome you, you will never learn to do better. You will never learn what the alternative is like. You will never learn what it feels like to put yourself in a situation that goes the way that you hope it goes, that goes the right way because you made the right decisions, because you decided that you weren't going to let this define you. So whatever has happened, it's happened. Oh, it's happened. It happened. There's nothing you can do about that. But what can you do now? Do you need to cut somebody off? I'm getting from spirit that somebody needs to cut some people off. That these people, this is not the first time they've done this. But you keep putting yourself back in a situation where you trust them or you tell them your personal life. This is about somebody using information against you. Because they don't want you to thrive. They don't want you to thrive beyond them. So it's an interesting situation that you find yourself in. And I can tell you what the last thing they want to see is. The last thing they want to see is you shake it off, brush that dust off your shoulders, stand up and keep going. They do not want to see you do that. Because when you do that, you become more powerful in the situation. You take control of the situation, you take control of your feelings, and you say, well, that's never going to happen again. Learn my lesson here. Nope. We have to make the choice, right? Our Daughter of Cups is she's got to take some time to feel the feelings. She's incredibly creative and she can do so much with her inspiration, but she lets people in too easily sometimes. And then they have this power that they can wield over her. And then she feels weak and then she lashes out because she's recognizing that she could have prevented that from happening, but she didn't. So now she's lashing out. Now she's frustrated. Now she feels like, why did I do that? And it's easy to want to sit and talk with people and share your woe is me story with other people, and when they want to do the same thing with you, when they like to hear somebody else's stories of struggle because that makes them feel better about themselves, but it doesn't make you feel better about yourself. It doesn't elevate you out of that situation. It doesn't give you solutions. It's harder to sit and listen to somebody tell you, now what are you going to do different, or ask you how you're going to approach this situation when it occurs again, or ask you about solutions, or ask you to consider what things you could have done differently. That's hard because you want that person to commiserate with you, and they're not. They're saying, I'm not going to commiserate with you. I'm never that friend. I'm never that friend that will like sit there and like, I want you to feel your feelings, and I absolutely will give you the space to do so. And then when you're ready to move out of that space, that's when I'm here. Like, I'll give you the space as much as you need, but don't come to me asking me to sit and woe is me with you, because I can't do that. I spent too long feeling that way about situations. This is the energy that I bring into the situation now. And this is the energy that I want to empower you with in this situation. This is, what are you going to do with it now? What's next for you? Are you going to let that define you? Are you going to allow that to become your story? Is that what people are going to think about when they think about you? Or are they going to think about your tenacity, how quickly you get back up and keep pushing, how ready you are to take on any challenge, how adaptable you are when things don't go your way, how you adjust, how you compensate for things, how you come up with solutions and things to overcome challenges, because that's who you really are. This is where your power really lies. This is what you hold above anyone else that could be placed in that situation. This is the timeline you want to be in. This is where you say, okay, well, you know what? I'm capable. I'm strong. I can handle this. I can do what I need to do. And I'm ready to learn too. I'm ready to learn to be better because I don't want to keep making these mistakes. I want to apply my experiences and the knowledge that I have, and I want to increase my skills and abilities. I want to learn from people. I want to grow from people that are strong. That I look at them and think they're strong, resilient people. That's the energy that is you. That's who you really are. So take your moment, have your moment, okay? Feel your feelings. And then when you're ready, dust yourself off and get ready to do something different with your energy. Make the universe work in your favor. See it in no other way but going your way. Now tell me this isn't a nice color combination. These complement each other well. Okay. Moth spirit is about surrendering. And then doubt, I release the need to know all the answers. So for this pull, I'm getting kind of an energy of you feel like you don't have control in this situation, um, and you are doing all the things. You feel very much like you're making the right decisions. You're trying not to feel sorry for yourself. You're trying to think of solutions, and you just have no idea. you're feeling at a loss. And there is a sense that you feel almost like confused and off path. That is not what spirit intends you to feel. This is about helping you recognize that when you have done the things that you're supposed to do, and when you're consistently pulling yourself back up and continuing along and pushing forward and maintaining that mental state, and things happen anyway, as they inevitably do in life, that you trust the process. You were doing everything right if you feel that way, because it felt right and everything was on track, and then something happens. Well, can we accept that we do not have control over all things? Like, manifesting isn't about steering through rough waters with perfect accuracy. When you're going through a storm, all you can do is genuinely, like, kind of keep the boat in a going in the somewhat same direction. But when the storm gets really dangerous, fighting against the waves becomes deadly. You almost have to surrender to what's happening to you. You have to allow the waves to carry the boat around naturally. You have a better chance of the boat staying afloat and flowing with those crazy waves than you do trying to smash into them. That could tilt your boat over completely. That could cause severe problems. It could damage your boat. It could destroy it. Because the power of those storms is sometimes so immense that the best thing that we can do is just hold on and allow it to pass. When we just recognize that this is a part of what's happening to me right now. This is a part of life. This is a situation. We're all very much in a situation right now that has been forced upon us. Some of us more deeply than others. Some of us, the storm seems a little more intense than others. Some of us fear whether or not our boat is strong enough. But what if we just let the storm occur and we just do whatever is in our power to hold tight, to secure ourselves, to look out for our loved ones, and let the storm happen. Let it occur. We don't necessarily know what the outcome is going to be, but I can guarantee the outcome will be a lot better once we give that storm a chance to weaken in intensity and strength. We will have a little bit more clear idea of where to go and which direction to head in and what needs to happen next. Because if you're fighting that storm and you're going head on into that storm and you suffer some damage, maybe you've taken yourself farther from shore. Well, we don't know what's going to happen. And there's some question about whether or not that's going to be the right decision down the road. So right now, the question is, how can we just stay safe, secure, stay close to our loved ones, and ride this storm out? Then, as that storm starts to clear, we're going to get a better understanding of our bearings. What kind of condition is everything in? Do I need to take stock of things? Do I need to get more supplies? Do I need to head back to shore? Can I continue on my journey in the direction that I was going? Do I need to redirect? Are there some injuries or issues that occurred in that pathway that need to be addressed first? This is a time where it's a good energy of just riding it out. We're surrendering to what's happening to us. It is. We can't control it. This is a storm. Do we know what's going to happen afterwards? No. Do you need to know what's going to happen afterwards? Well, there's really no way of knowing. So why would you spend all that energy feeling so upset about not knowing what's next? Instead, you do what you can do, right? You stay close to your loved ones, you keep yourself safe, you ride that storm out. And then when it passes and when it diminishes its power, you can look up and say, okay, now let's figure out what to do. So the energy of these two cards, for those of you who are going through some really tough times right now, is not to fight, is not to keep pushing, pushing, pushing because we don't know what's going to happen next. And it's better to just preserve your energy, save your emotional space, tuck in, stay close to your loved ones, be safe, and we'll figure out what needs to be done when the storm passes. Let's give it some time. It'll work out. Really interesting energy here. We've got patience, forgiveness, and we've got our shamanic journey. This does in some way feel very similar to the struggles that our last poll was feeling. But for some of us, it's a little bit less of a storm and more of just an uncertainty of how we would carry on after that storm has passed. So for some of us, we're at that place where that storm has diminished its power, and now we are at that place of what do we do next? What's next? Patience and forgiveness. I feel very, very much from spirit that we're going to be approached by some people from our past. We do not get to control when they come forward. We want them to come forward. We want them to take accountability and ownership for what occurred. That doesn't necessarily mean that they will. But I can feel that people really intensely want this. You want them. Because you want to be able to air this out and move on past this. You want to be able to just jump into the forgiveness part. But the spirit is showing you that it was never necessary for you to have closure. And so it wants you to actually let go of this. It wants you to give them forgiveness and have patience for what comes next without the expectation of them actually showing up to accomplish it. It wants you to forgive them. They made a mistake and they know that. They know that. I feel it. I can feel their regret. I can feel how hard it is for them to step forward, and they're trying their best. They know that you know that they messed up. And as soon as you're able to just say, you know what, I want you the best for you, regardless of if you can come forward to me or not. I want the best for you. I don't want to hold anger in my heart towards you. I don't want expectation that you're going to come forward and take accountability because that's just holding me back. It's not doing anything for me. It's not giving me any energy or ambition or solutions. It's not fixing anything in my personal life. It doesn't affect me at all, really. It's just me holding on to what it is that I think will make me feel better. And that's where you're holding expectations on someone else. And we can't hold expectations on someone else to make us feel better. We have to do that for ourselves. So first, you forgive yourself for thinking that way, for thinking that that's going to make you feel better. And then you forgive them because they didn't know better. They probably do now. Absolutely. Does that affect you? No. Will it lighten your load if you forgive them now? Yes. Will that give you the patience required in the future to understand how difficult it can be for people to take accountability and ownership for situations? And going into that, will you have more patience for yourself? Because if you can consider how bad and how difficult it might feel for somebody who wants to apologize to you, that wants to make things right, but doesn't necessarily think they have the strength to do so. you are going to understand how much space you need to allow for other people to prevent that from happening in the future. We have to kind of leave this space, and then you can kind of like give the hey, I don't know if you know which direction you're headed in, but I don't want you to cross this line of where you feel like you can't come back over it. So let's just take our time with this. Let's just step back from this. Because if you can let go of their feelings and how they wronged you, if you can let go of that, you're going to do everything possible to avoid that occurring in the future. You're going to give them time, not just them, but anybody else. You're going to give people time and space. And you're going to, throw out some warning signs here and there. But make sure that you say, hey, I know how hard it is to step back over that line once you've crossed it. Because this person that we care about hasn't figured out how to come back across that line yet. But if we let go, if we just forgive them, we love them anyway, and we want the best for them, we make it a lot easier. We make it a lot easier for ourselves to move forward. And then when they see that we've moved forward, they realize that we're okay. They might be able to cross back over that line. But you don't get to control the timeline of that. And sitting around waiting for that isn't doing any good either. So this vision quest, this shamanic journey that we're on, this is about building compassion. Because no, maybe you wouldn't have treated somebody like that. But that doesn't mean that there won't be a situation in the future, or there hasn't been a situation where you haven't done somebody wrong or treated somebody like less than they deserve to be treated. It doesn't mean that we are not supposed to approach all human beings as fragile, fallible, little spiritual babies. We're all just learning to walk here. And some of us have had a little bit more experience than others. Some of us have been here before. Some of us can come up here and talk about this. Some of us have had it in our lives. Some of us have been able to cross back over that line and take accountability for things. And we realize how much that lightened my burden, emotional burden, my soul burden. And I know now that waiting to apologize and make things right doesn't make it easier. But not everybody has had a chance to learn that yet. And so let's give them space. Let's trust that they want that for us. And you give that to them. Because ultimately, what that's going to do is help you become more in tune with yourself and in tune with your connection with every other living being on this planet. We are all sharing this experience, and it is very, very hard to be human. But these are the lessons that we learn along the way, and some of us are fortunate to have a little bit more sight and understanding to why we endure these lessons than others. And if we are lucky enough to be in that position, then it's our responsibility to help guide the others, to help show them the way. That's what being enlightened, that's what having sight, that's what being a psychic, that's what being a healer, that's what being a shaman is about. It's about being a wise keeper of the soul, a wise guide, showing compassion, love, and patience. That is our duty. That is what we're here for. So forgive them for yourself. Forgive yourself for holding expectations of them. And leave them some space and time to cross back over that line and come to you. And if they never do, it's okay because you've already forgiven them. But if you really want to help somebody, if you really want to show them a better way of living, forgive them anyway. And allow yourself to take that compassion forward to the next situation, because it will help you interact with others without leading them to going too far as well. Some interesting lessons today that came to me during this reading. So I have some things to think about myself. I have some things to contemplate in my own life. And I think if you're on a healing journey, regardless of where you are in that healing journey, it's important for you to recognize the lessons that we read for others in your own life. I don't deserve to be here if I'm not willing to take these lessons to my own heart and make them a part of my growth and my healing. Thank you for sharing your stories with me. Thank you for being a part of my life. If you're looking for personal guidance, you're more than welcome to inquire. I do so on sliding scale. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you next time.